One man's lifelong struggle with alcohol ended almost 5 years ago. We'll hear his story and how he made it happen.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope, open my eyes to see the world through different eyes, revealing your light, restoring hope.
All right, welcome. And no, I'm not Dr. Michael Brown. I am J. Michael McCoy. And this is our very new time slot here on the Truth Network. 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and, of course, high noon for those of you out on the West Coast. This is the brand new time. I will be followed today by Steve Dace. Steve will be live for the first time in Afternoon Drive in probably 4 or 5 years here in our community. And then sometime here in the next 30 days, our coverage will be expanded. We did not do the new lineup at the time we did the expanded coverage because we're not sure on the expanded coverage. It has to do with weather and wind and rain and all that kind of stuff. But it should be by Memorial Day. That's our goal. That we'll be broadcasting with a full power, full strength, covering all of central Iowa, Iowa Speedway East, Boondocks North, Adair, not Adele, Adair, to our west, and down to Lucas County to our south. So thank you for enjoying us today. If you've never heard this show, this is Monday, and we do Recovery Monday. We talk about life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And a very nice young man by the name of Dave Fitch is in the studio today. He's about ready to celebrate 5 years sober, and he's going to share his story with us. On Tuesdays, we talk a little politics. Not a lot. We try to mix our religion and politics, which I know you're not supposed to do, but, you know, I always do what I'm not supposed to do. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in this 2 o'clock slot, it's The View from a Pew, in which we talk about pastors and preachers and teachers, and it's kind of like a Bible study. You get to call in, you get to join on the chat, you get to listen and ask questions. And so we thank you for being here at this 2 o'clock hour on this very first Monday in May. Ryan's producing. My co-host is Bob Monserrate, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. He's got a computer in front of him, and should you jump on Webcast One Live, Webcast, ONE, live.com, you can join the chat there, and you can participate with comments or question there. My other co-host is the lovely Lila Stafford. Lila is I almost said it again, grievance. Where am I getting this grievance counselor? You're maybe it's just because you cause everybody so much grief.
Yeah, right.
Lila is a substance abuse counselor with Powell CDC, and they are the folks that bring you this show. Our guest today is Dave Fitch, F-I-T-C-H. Dave, how old are you?
Just turned 66.
Wow. When did you take your first drink?
Oh, good Lord. I would say probably September 16th, 1967. It's 2 days before I went into boot camp.
Wow.
So
I've
you
never
didn't
had
try
anybody.
It before that?
No, I never drank in high school.
All right, so September 16th, what year?
1967.
Right in the middle of Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
Did you go to Vietnam?
I joined the Navy to keep from going there.
Okay, and you didn't have to go.
I went there twice.
Oh.
Well, that didn't work out very well, did it?
No.
You didn't get it in writing from your recruiter office?
No, there wasn't much guaranteed in the military.
Yeah. Right.
I didn't have to go in country. I served on aircraft carriers.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Very much so. I am 10 years younger than you, and so I was never eligible for the draft during Vietnam. However, my older cousin, who was like a big brother to me, was, and he had a big map of Vietnam on his wall. I mean, a big map, like 6x4. I mean, just huge. And he followed it very closely and always gave me a heart for guys like you who went over there and risked everything so we could fight that war. So I do thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So you had a couple drinks before you went out to boot camp.
Yes.
Did you get ready? Did you keep drinking then after that?
Yes, sporadically. When I found out that I'd gotten out of boot camp and went to my duty station, that I was allowed to drink, at the EM club on base. I wasn't old enough to drink. I was only 18.
Oh, my.
So it was illegal in the United States, but I could drink all I wanted when I was overseas.
Okay.
And it just seemed the thing to do when you hit port.
What was your drink of choice?
Beer mostly.
Beer mostly?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any alcoholism in your family?
I believe my biological father was an alcoholic, yes.
All right, now I have to ask about that. Biological father. That
Right.
means you didn't grow up with him.
No. My mother and him divorced when I was about 4, and she remarried, and I took my stepfather's name, or I was given my stepfather's name.
Okay. And that was Fitch?
Yes. My biological name was Jeglum.
Say it again.
Jeglum.
Jeglum.
Correct.
Do you have any contact with him?
No, he's passed.
Well, so you must have had a little contact with him
Yes.
if you knew that.
Sporadic, yes.
Okay. So you were a social drinker,
Yes.
okay? Were you a I'm going to get drunk drinker or just have a couple drinks drinker?
Just drinking to be drinking with everybody else.
Okay.
No nefarious intentions or anything.
So it was fun for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then it was to let off steam and have fun.
Yeah. When was the first time that alcohol caused you a problem in your life?
It's only been probably close to 20 years ago, 15 to 20 years ago. I was working for a large manufacturing company in Des Moines, and I was part of management, and I was offered a gin and tonic one day, and I thought, sure, why not? I'd stopped drinking for several years.
Okay.
It didn't appeal to me, I just didn't care for it.
Okay.
And I remember drinking that gin and tonic and feeling my shoulders go down. It's just kind of like
Relaxed.
exactly. And a couple of days went by, and I thought, well, that was pretty good. I might try that again. So I bought a bottle of gin and some tonic water, and it was off to the races.
That was it.
That was it.
It was serving a purpose for you then.
Exactly.
It was relaxing you.
It would let me go to sleep. It let my shoulders go down. It let me kind of go to Never Land. And
Sure. I was a gin drinker too, so
Okay.
I can relate. And like you, I didn't drink till I was 34 years old.
okay,
Or drinking didn't become an issue, I should say, until I was 34.
exactly.
Prior to that, I'm the guy that would have one gin and tonic, and at the end of the night, there'd still be gin and tonic in that one glass. I was the guy that nursed it all night long. Never. Partly just because I was cheap, because gin ain't the cheapest stuff to drink, especially if you like the good stuff. Any OWIs? Any?
No, sir. I'm one of the very fortunate people that escaped all that.
Okay.
Just by the grace of God and pure dumb luck.
Yeah.
Because by all accounts, I should have been arrested, in jail.
Many times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm one of the very fortunate ones that escaped all of that.
Talk to me about now. Are you married?
No, sir.
Were you married at some point in your life?
Yes. Yes. I've been married 4 times.
Okay. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to go someplace that you're uncomfortable with.
That's fine.
Did alcohol enhance the beginning of some of those relationships?
I can't say it's enhanced as much as a detriment. I believe when the first one, after I came home from overseas and came back to the States, everything was kind of out of whack. Mm-hmm. And I think I didn't fit in anywhere. And I just kind of turned to alcohol, and I found out that if I drank and was angry, people left me alone. And that was pretty much the norm, the way I liked it. So,
was any of your wives party girls with you?
No.
Were you overseas for 2 years?
I went over twice. I was in the military 4 years. I went over the first time 68, 69, and went back over the second time in 71.
When you said when you got home, I don't remember your exact wording, but things were kind of out of balance.
Correct.
What was that like? Tell me what that was, because I know it from talking to guys like you, and I know it from the stupid movies that I see, but I want to hear it from you. What was that like?
Fish out of water, square peg in a round hole.
Okay.
Most of the people that I did associate with in high school were gone, and the only people that were around to associate with was my wife at the time and her friends, and they seemed very childish to me. And I just I learned what isolation was.
Okay.
And just put a barrier up, and it was a big wedge between myself and the rest of the world.
Did the community treat you poorly because you were a part of the Vietnam War?
No, I won't go so far as to say they treated me poorly. I'll just say I wasn't treated anything.
Okay.
It was just kind of like, oh, you're here. Where you been? You know, it's like I was in summer camp for 4 years.
Okay.
And it was better. It struck me as it's better to just ignore the last 4 years and just start from the day I left. And I'm supposed to just pick everything up and go from there.
Did they have any groups back then where you could talk to other guys
No.
that were coming back? So
Not that I
you
was
felt
aware of.
all alone. Not like no one understood where you'd been.
Exactly. A lot of guys. I'm very fortunate. I'm in a group of veterans now that we meet every Wednesday, and we have a certain camaraderie, and we can relate to each other quite a bit like the program.
Okay.
You know.
12-step program.
Yeah, and back then, a lot of us didn't want to be associated with military.
Okay.
It was frowned on if you were military. All the bad stuff was your fault, and so you just didn't really search out any acquaintances, so
Yeah.
to speak. You just kind of divorced yourself from the world, so to speak.
Have you ever seen the movie Born on the 4th of July with
Yes, I
Tom
did.
Cruise?
Yes, I did.
Does that motion picture relate to us some of what you felt during that time? Or was that just all Hollywood?
Oh, you're always going to have some Hollywood. It's hard to replicate feelings, and I remember the smells, the sights, the sounds, and it's hard to replicate something like that. But the thing that got me the most was the family's reaction when he returned home as a paraplegic. You know, and it was an interesting movie, a thought-provoking movie. Again, I wasn't in country, so there's a lot of people, a lot vaster.
What did you do on the ship?
I was damage controlman on aircraft carriers.
You were a who?
Damage control. I fought fires, and
Oh, okay.
my job was keep the ship afloat and fight fires.
All right. And what was the ship doing there? Was there aircraft coming on and off of it?
Yes, sir. We were bombing Vietnam.
Okay. All right. Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing that kind of stuff with me. I have a intense curiosity to understand not only what you guys went through. My real challenge is just how crappy we were to guys when they got home, and how it just blew me away. It just blows me away how we could do that as a country. I'm 56 years old and I still don't understand it, and that was 40 years ago. You know. All right, Dave Fitch is my guest. He has a sobriety birthday coming up in July, and he will be 5 years sober. Not an alcoholic from age 14, like so many times we hear. In fact, you didn't start drinking heavy until you had that job at a manufacturing plant. Kind of guess a year on that.
Oh, I started there in '84. Went into salary in about, I'm saying maybe 90. And from 90 on, I was in salary and just
Okay.
moved on up from there. So.
All right. We'll hear what his life was like when we come back. Lila's here. Bob's here. Ryan's here. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on Restoring Hope Live, it's a Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC.
father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Welcome back. Restoring Hope live on Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. Jill just texted me and told me that I look an hour younger. That's pretty good. What is that going to stick? That'll stick. I'll always be an hour younger now, won't I? No, it's not a mistake hearing my voice. Michael Brown has been moved to 1 to 2 o'clock here on the station. Bob and I and Lila will be here every Monday from 2 to 3. And then on the rest of the week, I'll be here with Bob and what's his name? The honor guy? Frank, he'll be here, and with View from the Pew, and then Steve Dace follows this afternoon. His debut back on live radio and afternoon drive here in Des Moines, Iowa, from 3 to 5 o'clock. You've always known somebody in your life that has a drug or alcohol problem. Maybe they knew it, maybe they didn't know it. Usually we don't know it. And it might have been somebody you loved, somebody you cared about, and you didn't know what to do about it. And the reason we do this show, and people like Dave, brave people like Dave, come out of the shadows of the anonymous part of this disease, and Lila and myself, is because we're ready to help somebody. We, at one point, were not only sick and tired of being sick and tired, but we now, having had a spiritual awakening, we wish to take this program to all people. And this is going to sound weird, but it's true, because when we help alcoholics, especially the newbies, the guys that are just coming around, how do you describe it, David? It does something for us. It helps our program.
Not only helps, it just brings it breathes life into the program.
Yeah.
When you can reach out and help somebody.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I'm speaking strictly for myself, you'll find that a lot of alcoholics don't have much self-worth.
Right.
And to be able to reach out and give a handout to somebody, giving them a glimpse of hope, as I've heard you say, is beyond words. It's fulfilling. It makes my life seem worthwhile now.
Yeah.
To be able to reach out.
And you reach out a lot. Don't you run some groups or participate in some aftercare groups?
Well, I like to say I'm a attendance taker. And
okay. But you're active. You're involved. You're in service work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. All right. So you now know 3 people. You know Dave, you know Lila, and you know me. You've got somebody, a sibling, a spouse, a parent, a child. Maybe it's your pastor or somebody in your small group. Maybe it's somebody in the next cubicle next to you. Maybe it's next door in the townhouse or the other house. And you don't know what to do. You want to reach out. First of all, you're afraid because you don't know when they're sober or when they're drunk. Because when they're drunk, they're different. You're not saying worse or better. You're just saying different. And that's what we do as alcoholics. We try to keep everybody a little off balance. Just a little bit off balance so we can kind of control you and manipulate you if we want. So don't feel bad if you feel controlled or manipulated by an alcoholic. We're good at that. But now you know somebody you can call. 263-2424. That's Powell's number. And 24 hours a day, there's somebody there. And you can call and you can just say, I just listened to this radio show, and the guy on the radio, Max, said that I could call if I have a concern, and I have a concern. And maybe, just maybe, it is you. I don't know. Only you would know. I know that someone can't get help until they want help. You can't force somebody in to recovery. Now, there is an old saying that I like to say, if you got trouble with your liver, the law, or the, what's the other?
There's another L.
Your liver, your lover, or the law. There you go. You're probably one of us. Or you're just a person who just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want to put the plug in the jug, and you don't know how to do that. We do. We've got years of experience, maybe weeks of experience, maybe like Abby, who we talked to earlier, 10 months. But look at the encouragement and things that she's doing for people now. You're always a help in this program. And the most important thing is don't be embarrassed. Just don't be embarrassed. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Society would like to put you to a guilt and shame and blame, but just don't let them. And if you don't know how to do that, then we'll teach you how to do that in this program. We'll teach you how to stand up for yourself and how to have self-worth. You mentioned earlier just having self-worth, knowing that you're worth something. Now, Powell is not a religious or Christian program. The 12 steps, some people would tell you, is a spiritual program. Some people would tell you it's a religious program. Here's what I will tell you, is that you'll find the God of your understanding. I call mine Jesus. You'll find that God, and that God will cling to you like you used to cling to the bottle, and you will find the power, the willpower, the confidence. You will no longer be afraid. You will know things that you've never known before, and you'll do things that you never thought possible. It's called the promises, and they are kept by our God when we finally say enough's enough. We're listening to Dave Fitch's story, and you were sharing with us off microphone that you had a brother. Have or had?
Had a brother.
Had a brother. How old was he?
I believe he was around 35 when he passed.
Okay. And how old? Was he older or younger?
He was younger.
And he had an alcohol issue.
Yes.
And he drank himself to death.
Basically, yes, he did.
You remember the funeral?
Yes, I do. It was hard to watch because my parents, my stepdad was really, I don't think he understood what was going on. It was
and that would
his
be his
comprehension.
biological son?
Yes, that was his biological son.
Okay. He didn't know what was going on?
Well, he knew, but he couldn't quite fathom it. Your children aren't supposed to die before you. It hit him very hard.
Was there a 10,000-pound gorilla in the corner that everyone knew that your brother had alcohol issues?
Yes.
Was it discussed at the funeral?
No.
No.
The only thing that was discussed at the funeral was the fact that he was such a kind, generous person. And that's exactly what he was. It didn't make any difference what his persuasion was, whether he's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, that he was just a basic good human being. And he had done a lot of good for a lot of people.
Yeah. What year was that? About?
Okay, 35 years ago.
Oh, 35 years ago. Okay. So it was about 1975.
Correct.
So you had not yet, you had been home from Nam, but you had not really started drinking yourself yet.
I drank, yes. I used drinking, as I said, to isolate myself, and then I didn't have to deal with people because they left people like me alone.
Yeah. Do you think that, how did his death impact you?
It didn't seem real for a lot of, I thought, here I am, bouncing around through life, and he, the kids loved him, and so many people loved him, and I'm like, why him? And then it just kind of like I just blocked that out and just went on my merry way and tried not to look back.
Now that you're sober, do you see it differently than you might have back then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How is that?
I think I would have had more compassion, a little more understanding of his situation. Definitely would have given more of myself to help him with his alcohol problem and what other problems he had in his life.
What would, this is a good question. What would you have done today that you didn't do back then to help him? Because you were 40 at the time?
Mm-hmm.
So you were 5 years his bigger brother.
I think I would have probably loved him more and let him know that. Instead of being just a brother, just be more than a brother. Just for from what I've gained in this program, I could have gave him a sense of hope. That's what I would have strived for most, I believe, was just to let him know that there was things out there that I would share with him. And then he didn't have to be alone. We could do it together if he wanted to.
Why did he drink?
Oh, I'm sure he had various reasons. My brother was gay, and I think the stigma back then was such that he felt totally neglected.
People didn't talk about it back then either.
No, not as open as we can now.
Yeah.
A lot has happened since then to where, I don't look at people as gay or this or that or anything. I look at people as one of God's children. They're human beings just like me, and we all have our own certain traits, issues, and whatever.
Hurts, habits, and hang-ups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look past them, you'll see a decent, kind human being.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's one of the things this program has taught you?
Exactly.
How do you think you're, we'll talk about that in a minute. I was going to ask you how you're different, but let's get to that at the end of the program if we can.
Okay.
You can think about it now. Now you'll know one of the secret questions. Dave Fitch is our guest, 66 years old. It'll be 5 years this July that he put the plug in the jug and said that was enough. Now, you said you've had 4 marriages.
Correct.
How many children?
2.
2. Do any of your children have alcoholic issues?
No.
No. Okay, by the grace of God, thereby
Exactly.
Go. And how was your relationship with them while you were drinking?
At the time I was drinking, I don't think I really paid any attention to it, to be quite honest.
Okay.
I was oblivious. I was a long-distance father. Both my daughters were from my first marriage. And Powell is the one that, going through treatment at Powell, helped open my eyes to just how my drinking affected them. Mm-hmm. And it was through one of the assignments that I'd called, and they live in a different state, and I'd call and I needed to know how my drinking affected them. And it was kind of funny because they kept saying, "Oh, it's no big deal, no big deal." And I told them, BS. I said, I need to know. So the oldest one fessed up and said, that she didn't like it when I called because I couldn't carry on a complete sentence. And then when my granddaughter was born, she was afraid for me to be around her because I was drunk, and she didn't want me holding her brand new baby. Mm. So this is what I learned while I was in treatment. Yeah. And I had no idea that I had that effect on my children.
How sobering was that?
Very, very sobering.
That's part of the denial thing. We really don't want to know how much our drinking affected other people, so we just keep that at bay and make up excuses like we were okay and it really didn't affect anyone else. And so it was probably a gift that eventually your daughter did let you know how. Well, it was a gift for them that you said your amends to them, or that you acknowledged that that it did cause some problems.
It was a gift to me, because had they not been honest with me finally, I would not have known. And I needed to know that. No matter how bad it hurt me, I needed to know to go forward.
Dave Fitch is our guest, almost 5 years sober. He's sharing his story. Would you like to share your story? Do you have one that fits into this program? Life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups? Maybe not alcohol or drugs. We'd love to have you as a guest. Just contact me here at 99.3 The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
restoring hope. Open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Welcome, 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News at 3 o'clock. And then the Steve Deace Show, live here on The Truth from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. Steve Deace back in Afternoon Drive, and we're just happy to be the opener. We get to open for Steve Deace, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like that. Of course, Lila is here, Lila Stafford from Powell CDC, and Bob Monserrate, the Cat in the Hat, and Ryan's producing. Our special guest today is Dave Fitch. Dave is 66 years old and has been sober for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in July. But let's regress. Let's go back and let's talk about those drinking days. You're not married today.
No, sir.
When did your last marriage end?
2 years into sobriety.
2 years into sobriety. I've heard that. I've heard that there's marriages that will not exist after one of the persons gets sober.
Well, we were drinking buddies at the time. So we both got sober at the same time, and she decided she would prefer a different lifestyle. So, but
she wanted to drink.
No.
No.
As far as I know, I hope she's not drinking.
Okay.
She is the one that I give credit to for getting me into the program and started me going to see a veterans counselor.
Good.
So I give her that credit.
Good. But it just wouldn't work out as a relationship.
No.
Well, and again, I've heard that, Lila. We've talked about that before. That
it's hard work. I mean, same with my husband and I. We were drinking buddies, and when we stopped, it was like being married to a stranger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and you had to find something else you had in common other than drinking.
What's the story you tell that he got up on a table at a restaurant?
Yeah, we were down in the Keys, and he was drunk. One of our kids was throwing crackers up in the air and, eating them. And I put my hand on his lap, and I said, we don't do that in nice restaurants. I mean, we don't do it in any restaurant, but we don't do it in nice restaurants. And my husband was so mad that I was telling his son not to do something, and he was drunk, and he got up on the table and called me every name possible. And so I just thought, I'm out of here. And I really was going to divorce him. I walked out, was going to walk home, but I was drunk too, and realized I was on an island and couldn't get back to our home. So I had to...
Oops.
Yeah.
Surrounded by water.
But that was a turning point for me.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm not doing this any longer. Too many problems when I drank.
And so that's when you started getting sober.
Yeah, I just said after that, that's it. Neither one of us are drinking. If you ever do again, I'm out of here.
And but you did it white knuckle, right? You didn't go through the program.
Yeah, there
up front?
wasn't any white knuckle for me. I was so angry that carried me through.
Really?
Yeah, the anger was so intense.
That he had done that?
That he had done that, and there were just a lot of problems in the marriage. We had stepchildren. I had stepchildren. Problems with ex-wife. Just tons of stuff, and I just thought, God, I've had enough of all of this. Our life has got to get better, or I'm not sticking around here.
Now, I have a question on why marriages break up after a person gets... And I guess the question I have is it because when you are actively drinking, your personality is different than when you're sober? Meaning...
I think you can forget a lot of stuff when you're drinking and you're just out to have fun. But there's a lot of different reasons why the marriages break up. But what I see a lot of is, well, if one person drinks and one doesn't, those are the marriages that I see break up more often, because the person that wasn't drinking all along has some power over the other person, and they can always blame anything that happens in the family on the alcoholic. Now all of a sudden they don't have anything to blame it on, and they don't have the power anymore because the other person's sober. So they have to figure out who they are. The alcoholic has to figure out who they are. But I think in the incidents like both of us had, both people, when you're sober and you're looking at somebody that you've always been drunk with, it's like looking at reality. I don't even know who this, well, I said this, I don't even know who my husband was. So it was hard. building from scratch.
And Bob, we've talked about this before, you and I. My wife and I had 20 years of marriage, and it was pretty good. I mean, we did okay. But when I got sober, all of a sudden she had, well, I wouldn't let her say things to me that I didn't want to hear, okay? And I would be angry, and I would throw the room into a spin.
When you were sober?
When I was drunk.
Oh, okay.
When I was drinking. This could be 8 o'clock in the morning, fully sober. And CJ would tell you she just wasn't going to mess with that. She'd just leave and walk out of the room or go to bed or do whatever she's going to do. Well, now all of a sudden I'm not drinking anymore, and I don't have those personalities, because one of the things that we learn in this program is how to deal with those isms, right?
Exactly.
We're no longer idiots. We're no longer egomaniacs. We're no longer, what does Carl say? I love how Carl says, we has the ego the size of Manhattan and self-confidence the size of a pea. And now all of a sudden what's happened in my life is my children and my wife now have permission to tell me things I don't want to hear. And I don't react that way anymore. I don't remember the last time I was outside of myself like that. It's been over, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I don't get offended anymore. I don't look for things to get offended.
Well, I think that the people that haven't been drinking all along have expectations that when you get sober, then everything's going to be perfect.
Right.
And that isn't the way it is. You come into a marriage with baggage. We all do.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is stopping the drinking. Now you have to grow as a person.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I grew up. Mm-hmm. I had to put my big boy pants on and grow up. And my kids and my wife now kind of saw open air to be able to say some things to me that they didn't want to, that I wouldn't allow them to say before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that happens.
Well, I know that a lot of people, the problem with a lot of people when they're in a normal state is they have fear and self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm wondering is, does the alcohol suppress the fear and self-doubt?
While you're drinking.
What would you say, Dave?
Well, for me, alcohol provided I don't really give a blankety blank.
Yeah.
That's just the way I was. When I was drinking, it's like, okay, be that way.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But self-doubt.
Hard to have a relationship when you have that when one person has that attitude.
Exactly.
The
Well,
self-doubt.
you don't. It's hard to have a relationship when you're not even comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
When you don't like yourself, it's hard for somebody else to be close to you.
Yeah.
And you don't even allow yourself to get close to yourself.
Yeah.
You want to. That's one of the things I did. That's one of the reasons I drank.
Yeah. Get away from yourself.
Get rid of that.
Oh, I've never heard that before. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I
Trying
would
to get away from yourself.
Oh, I would absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I did not like myself. I did not like the man I had become. I didn't like the things I was doing, and so I just started drinking because I didn't have to deal with that other guy anymore.
That's the self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that went away.
Yeah, and the number one person that I was mad at when I got sober was me. Now, I didn't realize that because I took it out on everybody else, but I was mad at me for the things I had done in my life that had gotten me here.
But this self-doubt, all that stuff, it worked while you were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're not drinking, all that comes back.
But that would be the encouragement to continue drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
The problem solver was the alcohol.
Yeah. It solved it for the 2 minutes that you could. Well, I don't know. I'd get drunk so fast that it never solved.
Yeah. I'd be drunk in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't remember ever really getting sober.
Really?
I
You
didn't
were
know
morning drinker and everything?
Oh, if I wasn't working, I was drinking.
Okay. How'd you get through work?
Shaky.
Okay.
I am so happy I retired when I did, or I would have been fired. There's no doubt.
One reason I quit drinking was because of hangovers. I could be in bed for 2 days for my hangover. Mm-hmm.
Dave Fitch is our guest. When we come back, what his life is like now. Almost 5 years sober, back in a relationship with both of his daughters, his grandkids. The benefits, the promises, they're all here. And we'll talk about that when we come back live on Restoring Hope Live. This is Recovery Monday here on The Truth 99.3. Thanks for listening.
mother who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then our new lineup continues. It started at noon today with Michael Mudloff, then Ask Michael Brown, Dr. Brown, and then us here from 2 to 3, and then from 3 to 5 it's Steve Deace Live here in the afternoon. We have not yet expanded our signal. That's coming here in the next month. We did it on purpose to start the new lineup before, so we would everybody be used to it. Not that we're all not used to being on the radio, but we just wanted to get you to get used to it, and sometime here around Memorial Day, maybe a little before, maybe a little after, we'll expand our coverage and have a full Central Iowa coverage. Because the frustrating thing for me is that people come up and they say, I can't hear your station. I want to listen. I listen to the podcast from time to time, but I can't hear your station in the car. Well, the good Lord took care of that. We're expanding our coverage to reach all of Central Iowa here in the next 30 days or so. All right, my special guest is Dave Fitch. It's been a pleasure to have you, too. I like you. You're a nice. I bet you're a nice guy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I have references.
You have references.
You bet.
But you're going to be sober here 5 years in July. How are you different today than you were 5 years ago? You seem like a very at peace man.
Exactly. I believe today I have a soul.
Okay.
Before I was lacking a soul.
Okay.
I had a realization here not too long ago where I woke up one morning and I realized something. I didn't wake up with that dread that I used to have every morning when I just dreaded being alive. Just there was always a cloud. There was always doom and gloom. And I realized that I don't have that in my life anymore. And that was like a giant Christmas present.
Yeah.
And I got up and my whole attitude changed instantly, and I thought, wow, what a deal. So I try to spend time each morning. Some people call it meditation. I just call it my cup of coffee and just reflect on all the good things I have in my life.
Yeah.
And try to just dispel the negative thoughts.
Just kind of get rid of those.
Exactly.
That's just the committee upstairs trying to make you feel miserable anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You know? How has your spiritual program changed? Or your spiritual?
Oh, my.
Is that the big difference?
How much time do we have?
We only have about 4 minutes.
Okay. This program and everything has allowed me to develop a spiritual relationship with what I call my Creator, my God, my Jesus, on a one-to-one basis, without having be directed by a church and a specialized doctrine to be preached to on how I was supposed to believe. And this program's allowed me to, like I say, develop that one-on-one relationship. Is just it's hard to put in words. It's just I have the presence with me 24/7.
You know that God loves you.
Exactly.
And He sees you perfectly.
Well,
You're perfect.
Yes.
You're perfect in His eyes.
In His eyes, yes.
And that you are a son of a risen King.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when we know that, then we don't have to drink anymore.
No.
There's no hole to fill.
No.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing I got from my spiritual program is because the I call it the feces committee, and you can use another word if you want because it rhymes. Would just every day tell me I'm not a good enough father, I'm not a good enough son, I'm not a good enough employee, I'm not a good enough partner for Lila, I'm not a good enough for Ryan, and I'm not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. And the only way I could feel good enough was to not feel.
Exactly.
Alcohol didn't make me feel good enough. I just didn't feel anymore.
Exactly.
And then, like you, I'd wake up in the morning and have to do it all over again. And once I learned what God really thought of me, and it just changes everything, doesn't it?
It was inspiring to know that there was something out there that actually cared for me no matter what.
That's right.
No matter what.
Unconditionally.
Exactly. And I garnered a lot of strength through that. Because now when I have a tough decision to make, I just sit on it and I'll meditate or whatever, and I'll know the right answer. It'll be in my heart.
Yeah.
The right answer will be there.
It'll come when you wait long enough for it.
Exactly.
And you get rid of all the resentments. That boy.
Oh, that'll eat your lunch.
I didn't even know what the word meant. And then I got in this program. And I'll tell you the other thing that I learned. I got goosebumps. The other thing I learned was I didn't realize how arrogant I was. But I was I always thought I could tell you how to do it better. And you just weren't quite doing it the right way. So let me tell you how to do it better. And I'd think I was helping you. I was being a nice guy by telling you how to be a better father, better son, better mother, better. No, I was viewed as an arrogant SOB. And God just takes all that pain away and just fills it with His love. Yeah. I can see that in you. I can see the peace. Yeah. I bet you were a real son of a gun, weren't you?
I was not on the most loved list. I'll say that. I was voted when I was in treatment. I found out after 2 years of sobriety, I was voted most likely not to make it.
Really?
By my group.
Well, good for you.
I was just there to get sober, leave me alone. I didn't want your program. Just get me through the DTs and leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then there was a lady that I think she still works there, mentioned one day that I'd make a good facilitator. And I remember looking at her like she came from a different planet. I said, "Are you out of your blankety mind?"
Was that Dee?
No. That was Julie.
Julie, all right. Have I met Julie?
No. She's
Okay.
not.
No, all right. Well, I sure appreciate you coming on today.
Well, thank you.
One more question. How has it changed for you and your kids?
Oh, gosh. If I'm in a bad mood and you want to perk me up, just bring up my kids.
Okay.
I have a relationship now that's it's indescribable. I just got back. My oldest daughter turned, her birthday was the 15th of April, and I went over for a couple of days just to celebrate her birthday. And both my daughters got the day off at the same time when the three of us spent the day together.
How fun.
That is something that no alcohol or money or anything could ever come to match.
That's awesome.
That was truly a gift.
Good. Congratulations. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dave Fitch has been our guest. He'll be 5 years on July 16th. And I'll tell you what, your group was wrong. You not only made it, but you made it in flying colors, cowboy. I like you. You're a good guy. Thank you for being here, Lila. I appreciate you being here. Bob, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
See you this Friday.
Yeah.
Got a good show planned. And I'll see you tomorrow right here with Tom Coates and Michael Damascus Pastor Damascus has chosen Ted Cruz as his candidate. Why? He's a pastor. He's very outgoing about his, outgoing and honest about his faith, about religion and politics. Why did he choose Ted Cruz? Why so quickly? Why so now? We'll talk to him about that when he comes on tomorrow. So, you know what you're going to do on this Monday the 4th? Yep, when you get home tonight, you drop your knees. You're going to give that resentment back to God and say, take it, forgive me. And that's how you will be forgiven. I'll see you in church.
Restoring hope.